Hi, this is Ms. Hogan. I'm going to go over with you today multiplying by two-digit numbers using the standard algorithm. If you don't already have them, please get out your notes, either in your journal or in Notability. Okay, so here we have our notes. We're first going to review how to multiply a three-digit number by a two-digit number. So the problem that we have here is 623 multiplied by 32. So whenever you're multiplying using the standard algorithm, as most of you already know, the number with more digits, more numbers in it, goes on top when I'm setting up my algorithm here. So 623 times 32. That's your first step, is setting that up. And the rest is pretty straightforward. You're all multiplication pros by now. So this is really just practicing those math facts and reviewing what you learned in third and fourth grade about multiplying a 2 by 2 digit. So I know many of you use the area model or other methods for multiplying. This year, we're going to focus primarily on the standard algorithm, but you're welcome to still use those other methods if you feel like they work better for you in every case. So first thing I'm going to do is this column right here, my ones column, which is 3 times 2, and that's 6. Next, I'm going to look at 2 times 2, so multiplying my 2 and the ones by the 2 and the tens, and that's 4. And then lastly, I'm going to look at 2 times my 100, which is 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. And it's really important that your numbers stay lined up here as we continue to multiply larger numbers. If you have them kind of out of order or that it's messy and hard to read, that can mess up your answer. So we're really focusing on that precision in this math strategy today. So the other common mistake that I see most often from students when they're multiplying large numbers is they forget about our placeholder. So since I'm multiplying by a two-digit number, 32, I'm only going to have 1 0 in that second row as my placeholder. So then I'm looking at my tens place, the 30. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then I'm looking at 3 times 2, which is 6. And then lastly, 3 times 6, my tens and my 3 by the 6 and the hundreds, and that's 18. And then my last step is to add them all up. So 6 plus 0, 6. 4 plus 9 is 13. 6 plus 2 plus 1 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9, and then 1. I know I went through that kind of fast. I'm really just wanting to review this method with you, but as far as your math facts, that's something you're going to be practicing a lot this year. So my answer is 19,936. Now in the directions, it said use estimation to check if your answer is reasonable. So we have our answer, and it's always a good idea to check your work. As I've mentioned before, I think the best way to do that is to do the problem twice, but estimation is a faster strategy that we can use to see if our answer is reasonable. So thinking about the number 623, I could say that's about 600. 32 is about 30. So 6 times 3 is 18. And there I have my 3 zeros, which would go behind. So although these answers are kind of far apart, they're almost 2,000 place value spots apart, I can see that I'm in the same ballpark. If you had estimated and got an answer like 800, then you could see you're really far off. So you're really kind of looking like, am I in the similar place value range for my estimate and my actual answer? And the answer is yes, I am. What I would recommend is if you get something very different here that you're not sure if it's letting you know if the actual answer you have is reasonable or not, I would recommend doing the problem over again. Okay, next up, we're going to do a 4-digit number by a 2-digit number. So I'm going to set it up for you, and then I'd like you to pause this video and try it on your own and come back to see if your answer is correct. So this one, you have a couple different options as well. It's 7,360 times 20. Now, like we've talked about before, this zero and this zero really are going to get in the way. And you'll see that if I set it up for you here using the standard algorithm. These zeros, I mean, I'm going to be left with a whole row of zeros because of that 20. So what I would recommend is to kind of save that zero for later, if that makes sense. So thinking about breaking this apart into 2 times 10 and setting up your multiplication like this. Now, the most common mistake with that is that students forget to add on the zero afterwards. So what I tell them, what I recommend is to add it on right away. Just put it down here now so that it's kind of hanging out there for you when you're finished with your math. So it's not an extra step that you're having to remember to do. So why don't you pause this video now and try 7,360 times 2. Be back in a sec. So first I'm looking at my ones column. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry my 1. 2 times 3 plus 1 is 7. And then lastly, 2 times 7 is 14. And look, if you see there, I already have my 0 added on from this 20 here. So that is my final answer, which is 147,200. And then we're going to check if our answer is reasonable. So 7,360 is very close to 7,000. And 20, that one's fairly easy to take care of. So 7 times 2 is 14. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros to add on. And now you can see that these answers are very close together. So yes, my answer is reasonable, and that's the right answer there. So this is an example of how we can take what we learned earlier last week about multiplying by tens. So a nice, easy number that ends in a 0, I would really recommend breaking that apart instead of setting it up like this. Now, if you want to do that, you'll still get the right answer, but you will have more opportunities for just some silly mistakes because of that extra 0, which is not a deal breaker. So just know that you still have access to those methods that we discussed before. Okay, last one. This one is not an easy number for me to break apart, so I'm going to use just the standard algorithm, 5,362 times 76. Go ahead and try this one now on your own. Pause this video and come back to check your work. Okay, so first I'm looking at my ones place with the 6. 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 6 plus 1 is 37, carry the 3. 6 times 3, sorry, let me help you follow along here. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 3 is 21, carry that 2. And then last place is the 6 times 5, which is 30 plus 2 is 32. Now, don't forget that placeholder right here. And then I'm looking at my tens column with the 7. So 7 times 2 is 14. Since I'm in Notability, I'm actually going to go through and erase what I was carrying beforehand, just so you can more clearly see. So I was right here in this spot now. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 1 is 43. And then 7 times 3 plus 4. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. Carry my 2. And then the last one, 7 times 5 plus 2 is 37. Now I'm going to add these all up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry that 1. 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. Carry the 1. That becomes a 4. So my answer is 407,512. And I'm going to check if my answer is reasonable using multiplication. So 5,362 is close to 5,000. You can always kind of round to the nearest place value. So if it's 1,000, round to the nearest 1,000. If it's a 10,000, round to the nearest 10,000, etc. 76 is very close to 80. So that's going to be my new problem. And again, with estimation, you want to be able to do it in your head. So if you can't, it's really not that effective. So make it easy on yourself and just make it rounded to the nearest 1,000 or 10. So you can do it in your head. 5 times 8 is 40. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros after the 40. So that number is 400,000. You can see that's really close to what I started with. So my answer seems reasonable. And there's my correct answer. Okay, hopefully this was a quick and easy review for you of multiplying using the standard algorithm. And I will see you in class for more practice. Thank you for your hard work.